What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back into what's happening in Iraq today. All right, look at our boy Academy there. Looking good, looking good. A quick reminder, everybody, if you're thinking about buying into precious metals, please give our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange a consideration. If you're a first time buyer and you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals, use promo code Pimpy, Pimpy, and get a free half ounce of silver. You can see right now, gold and silver is on the move. The announcement of Trump coming out of the hospital definitely is having a positive effect on the markets all the way around. Gold is almost at 1920, silver is almost at 2450. And we can even see cryptocurrencies on a run. XRP has been kind of on a run here now for the past, XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin all have been on a run here for the past, this is going to be about a second day. They continue to move in a positive way. So that looks really good. Look at that. Bitcoin trying to get towards that 11,000 mark. Nice. And it's nice to see that Ethereum is back above the 350 and XRP above 25. If you're thinking about buying cryptocurrencies, there's a link in the description. Follow it and you can get 10 free dollars. Quick reminder, everybody, that we have Pimpy's Investment Chat, the same name as the YouTube channel. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. No politics. Bringing the politics over to here, which is the hidden things in front of your eyes. You can talk about politics here. QAnon, NESARA, GESARA, current events, the whole 9 yards. Just be respectful of one another. And if you don't have Facebook but got Twitter, come join me on Twitter. The link is in the description. This is good news for Iraq. So the oil bumped up just a little bit, not a lot, 5%. So it's up to 41.25. Of course, as you know, like 95% of the revenue generated for Iraq is from the oil. So that's good news until they can start generating other forms of revenue. The more the oil goes up for them. And as you see the world opening up and people start traveling again, so the demand for oil will increase. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on that. All right, so they're talking about giving us a new stimulus check. So for some of you, that might be an opportunity. If that might give you some discretionary funds. I know not all of you have it, but if you do, it might be a good time for you guys to start stacking back up on gold, silver, or even consider adding a little bit more to your foreign currency stacks. All right, the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnam dong over here. Okay, don't forget, you got our friends over at UK Dinar FX. You go over here and you put in an order. You can use discount code Pimpy, and it'll save you a few dollars. All right, you guys? So come on over there, and the link is in the description. A good time to add on a little bit more. So Al-Qademi went to NESARA and met with the sheikhs over there. Of course, they have their own demands. They want the same thing as everybody else in that province or the government. And that is stability, job security, better living conditions. And Al-Qademi wants to assure them that these things are coming. As they get money that they need to work these projects, he said there's a lot of stalled projects. I think about 267 stalled projects there that would provide a lot of job opportunities for in this area over there. So he went to meet with the sheikhs just to, again, tell them that they're not forgotten. That indeed, they have a special status for him, and that he has some projects that need to get done pretty quickly here. All right, so that's what this whole thing is right there. The central bank direct implementation of steps to reform the bank sector. Okay, so the central bank announced on Monday that it will implement the first reform steps for the banking sector, indicating that the classification of private, commercial, and Islamic banks operating in Iraq has been completed according to a set of international standards, in addition to a number of standards approved by the bank. This step comes within a framework of enhancing confidence in the banking sector and improving the quality of services provided to the public, as well as enhancing, look at that, competitiveness in the Iraq banking sector, the bank added in a statement. So for those who don't know, who are kind of still new to this, people have problems with the bank. I think less than 9% of the Iraqi people have banking accounts there, and that's due to just, 20 years or so of just warring and having their money stolen from them, either by ISIS or the corrupt people. So, they less than 9% of them have banking accounts. He emphasized that he had previously asked the lagging banks more than once to work on correcting their situation and paying their customers dues. fees. That's what it is. Therefore, this classification will be an opportunity for those banks to prove their seriousness in achieving reform requirements and pay the dues to depositors and the shareholders. Okay, so again, Central Bank of Iraq trying to get rid of the corruption, trying to implement policies and procedures that can monitor this a lot better than they have been. That has been an ongoing problem with the bank. So the President of the Republic, Saleh, affirms his full support for financial control measures in combating corruption and preserving the public money. Well, we just heard the finance minister just said since 2003, was it $203 billion has been stolen from the Iraqi people, not dinars, dollars. That is a lot of money. And the finance minister went on to say that, look, that could rebuild, several countries at that amount of money. And rightfully so. But again, Al-Qadimi's the government is a lot different, it appears. They're doing everything possible to make sure that they wean away the corruption. All this is good because the stronger that the economy becomes, as you guys know, you know what I mean? The more trust they have in the banks, the more stable they become, the more outsider investors that come in, provide an opportunity for the Iraqi dinar to strengthen. Okay, so we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Parliament is able to pass a borrowing law within 6 days. Again, going back to borrowing, we don't want them to be borrowing from the World Bank or the IMF. Keep it internally. The more they borrow from the World Bank or the IMF, the more they put on their policies and procedures, or they put on some type of strings attached, and it does affect, it seems to affect Iraq constantly in a negative way. You see the finance minister, and you see Al-Qadimi trying to avoid dealing with them altogether. Of course, you want to keep in their good graces in case you absolutely need them, but for the most part, you want to avoid it. Parliament can hold an extraordinary session at the invitation of the Prime Minister, the President of the Republic, the Speaker of the Parliament, or 50 deputies to specialize in the legislation this law, according to Article 58 of the Iraqi Constitution. But if the session is held on the 10th, Tazreen, enacting a law requires a lengthy process. So again, they have to pass laws according to the Constitution, as all countries should. Okay? So, as you guys know or are aware of, they had enough money to secure salaries for 5 months. Somehow it's spent in 3 months, so they're going back to borrowing once again. I did see an article that the World Bank was warning that Iraq would most likely be absolutely bankrupt by 2021 if they didn't get their crap together. So, it looks like we're teetering there, but let's see. I just say change the rate, and that would help them out a whole lot. The General Secretariats of the Council of Ministries decide to suspend official working hours on Thursday. Of course, they're recognizing another holiday. They have a ton of holidays over there. As a matter of fact, remember Al-Qadimi did come out and say they need to do something about reducing the amount of holidays. They want to reduce it by about 30 days. We'll see what happens. Finance Minister, Iraq is in the process of transferring its budget from the traditional to the program budget. I know people want to try to make something out of this, but it's not. The Finance Minister, Alawi, stated on Sunday that the Iraq will move from the traditional budget to the program budget within a year and a half, indicating that the tax rate will not be high, but the citizens will not accept it for not providing the necessary services. In other words, if I'm paying taxes, what the hell is the government doing for me? You know what I mean? We kind of say that around here too. Alawi said in a statement followed by the news, the budgets for the years 2021 through 2023 will have started working on them now. So they're already working on the budgets. We know about this. There's reform papers are being reviewed. Let's see what happens, because we do know that one of the things in the reform papers was the discussion of the dinar rate. It says, but they will not be the main ones. Just talking about the 21 through 23 budgets. They will be reviewed, but they won't be the main ones. because the Ministry of Finance is currently unable to implement it in a complete way. But it may be hindered for a year and a half so that we can move from the method of drawing the budgets, traditional to budget programs, taxations. The tax returns are indirect and will constitute a very small percentage of the state's resources, which are not high if compared to any other country, since the tax structure is reasonable in Iraq. Again, Iraq can't just rely on oil, and taxes is another one of those streams of revenue. But, you know, it's kind of hard to collect taxes on people if they're not working. He pointed out that citizens will not respond to taxes, and they may have to justification because the state does not provide them with the necessary services. So the level of taxes may be linked to services and their quality. Man, I like that idea. Hey, if your government is not providing you the necessary services, then you should reduce the amount of taxes that you have. Kind of like the way that works. It is assumed that we will get about 8 trillion dinars from taxes, while we are currently less than 1 trillion. So from 8 trillion, they're less than 1 trillion. Because there are legal exemptions, is what it is. On the political issues, the Minister of Finance stated that there is a link between the economics and politics, and all the decisions since 1950s were amid in politics and ideology, and over time they transformed from the ideology to a kind of balance, which in turn led to the seizure of the state. It's like a form of socialism. So nonetheless, what he goes on to talk about is how, you know, the government over time has it turned into a seizure of the state, and it's become more dictatorial, as you guys know. Okay, so that's it. There's just they're going to be switching from one type of budget to the other, but can't get the real one implemented until all the needs are met of the Iraqi people. And then this is the other good news. Baghdad has taken 4 measures to stop targeting the green zone, and promises positive results. So this is the final thing here. As you guys know, there's been missile launches, rocket attacks in the green zone towards the international airport where the embassies are, where a lot of embassies are. Again, this is just Al-Kadhimi and his government taking the steps necessary to make sure that the embassies are protected. I really like Al-Kadhimi. I think he's doing some great things, but it just goes on to say the steps that they're taking to assure that the people are safe there, that the embassies are safe there. They don't want American embassies to pull out. That really affects them economically and hurts them big time. So they're taking all the necessary steps to make sure they are protected. Okay, you guys? So that's it for now. A little of this, a little of that. Just still Al-Kadhimi, in my opinion, cracking a whip and getting things done. This is good. But what I'm noticing is not in the news, and it seemed like it was in there every day. What happened between the negotiations of Kurdistan, or Erbil, and Baghdad? We know that agreement has to be ironed out in order for them to move forward on the budgets. We just haven't heard very much about it recently. So we'll keep an eye on it. If anything changes, major changes, I'll fill you guys in. But that's it for now. If you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.